Hey guys, today we're going to be interviewing the Cobrastan Cult from Starbase. So, from what I've heard, you started out as an EVE player. Is your clan itself from EVE, or at least your faction members, or if not, how exactly did TCC form, if not?
Yeah, we started in Ion and it formed, well, actually the real name, the name Cobrastan was stolen by me because like I have entered another corporation, like it was called the Church of Cobrastan in EVE Online, and it was the time when I just recently created the character, the Master Astaroth, and I needed a quiet place to train, to skill up, to train skills. And EVE Online has a passive skill training, as you probably know. And so I was an experienced player already, and I quickly grew up in ranks. And then I decided to loot the corporation of its members, and that's exactly what I did. And I have that was the day, I think the April or June, I don't remember, of 2015, when the Cobrastan Cult was formed, and all the active members, they just sort of joined it from the Church of Cobrastan, the original one, and I also stole the all the corporation money from the corp account, from the wallet. And I didn't really like the name at that time. It was just for sort of to make the guy, the CEO of the church, to be a little bit salty. And he was very salty, and that was the purpose of just stealing the name. And that's how it was formed. And from that moment, we started just killing everyone we could. We were not like quite sort of speak trained up group of players, and there wasn't really many targets for us. I mean, many juicy targets. So we started with killing newbies, killing noobs, killing PvE players, killing miners, some freighters and haulers and shit like that. So those the defenseless people. And then we uh, we grew up a little bit. We became something of a bigger size than we were in the beginning, and so we started to like targeting those who can actually shoot back. So and by the time the Starbase was announced, we already were very kind of well known in EVE Online, especially in the faction warfare of EVE Online. It's the low sec content, and like I mean PvP content, and we were just well, from in the scale of Eve, of course, we are a very small corporation, but in our kind of constellation, or in our like zone of influence, we have been pretty tough guys. So, and we were like I don't know what, like if we were like respected by anyone, because there are a lot of people who think that low sec is for, for noobs and shit like that, but uh, our kill board says that we've been one of the, I know, just general semi-piracy, semi-factional warfare PvP corporations. And if that um, if those members, they go, if they all go to Starbase, then we probably can fuck up a lot of shit in the beginning. Probably. That's it.
Nice.
Sorry for my English. It's I know it's shitty at the moment. I used to be very fluent in in 2007 and 8, because I was living in New Zealand, and now it's just shit.
Oh, it's fine. Yeah, it sounds like the stuff y'all do be definitely the stuff. Y'all definitely need to maybe record some of that PvP. I'd love to watch some of that. Whenever stuff starts to go down in Starbase, I'd love to just watch y'all tear people apart. As for the next question, how exactly is TCC ran? And by that, I mean more of its structure how and how it goes about deciding what it's going to do next.
Well, the structure is very simple. In Eve, it's mm, it's kind of bad idea to have a very, very large and bureaucratic and slow, ineffective structure, especially if you are only about 50 dudes corporation. Because well, that kind of structure is more or less understandable when you are a huge alliance of hundreds or thousands of members, or a coalition of such alliances. Well, there they have structure, and we have only basically one CEO, which is me, and like a couple of recruiters and a couple of directors, and that's it. And that's the Eve structure. And we like, assuming that we have become a multi-gaming clan at some point, we have decided to make like our own, like, sort of common structure for all games. And the structure is also very simple, but it was, I mean, it was effective, at, like, until I, like, as long as I mean, it's effective as long as I trust the people that run the TCC in other games. And well, t- like, to make it simple, well, there is a patriarch, which is me. It's just CEO. It's like, I called it the role the patriarch, because we are kind of a little bit of role play guys. So we're cult. So we need something like that. We're not a corporation. You know what I mean. And there's a Templar, and the Templar is simply a co-CEO. It's just, it's my kind of right hand, and if I'm not present in the game, the Templar runs the TCC branch in that game. And then we have, like, the rest of the membership, the junior officers, and all that kind of micromanagement stuff. I mean, it's just very simple. And if we need to, like, when it goes, like, if we need to decide what to do something, then, well, that's basically one person decides, and the person is either me, or if I'm not there, the Templar. That's it. It's very simple.
Awesome. Yeah, I like structures like that. Um, it reminds me of like what we have, where it's just me and then our my equivalent of a Templar. The only difference would be heads of state also getting a cumulative say. But yeah, I agree that the more democratic setups usually are far less effective until you get to extreme number counts. As for the next question, your clan came into Starbase pretty hot, declaring wars on a lot of factions. How many factions exactly have you done that to, like current or past, if you've alleviated them? And what do you normally do to decide who lives and who dies? Is it based more on the actions of players, or do you simply target certain types of players and clans and certain personalities?
Well, I'll start with the last one. I can declare war because someone is a little bit mouthy in the chat, so he just smug talks about me and my clan or whatever. I just throw a war declaration right in his face, just because I can and because I want to fuck him up. And there are also certain types of clans and personalities that we usually war deck. It's the term from Eve, the war declaration, the war deck, and they are basically like, well, starting from they start from the those people that can't really, or maybe will not probably want to defend themselves, and it's not because like we prefer killing the defenseless people, but that's because their tears, they're awesome and like, so sweet that we just simply can't resist. We know that the PvP mechanic works both ways, so they can kill us if they want, but they prefer to like screech in chat and like in-game mail system if the game has some mail system. But like I think Starbase will have some mail system, I mean the in-game mail, and that kind of butthurt. I mean that kind of content. It's our kind of prize and our like what we drink, and so that's why we like when it comes to declaring a war, we at first we like try to figure out will it be like an awesome idea to harass those people until they log off or not, or so, like it's something it like it all it's everything it's is about the just harassing people. And if the corporation is like it's a little bit stronger than the rest of sort of PvE boys, well, then we will probably also declare war to it if we want to, because, well, yeah, I know, like, reading the funny posts on forums and other kind of communication boards is pretty funny, but killing the defenseless targets is also kind of, boring. I mean, it's funny, it's very fun at the beginning, but, like, and the next day, you just says, again, that's fucking stationary targets. Will he ever shoot back? Oh, no, he didn't. Okay, fine, bye bye. Well, that's just dull. Okay, so we want some challenge after a few days of harassing the defenseless dudes. So the next type of personality, or the next type of thing that we actually expect every time we war deck someone, is the actual the actual defense. So we can ambush someone, we can attack on someone, we can drop on someone, we can raid someone just because we want a fight, basically. And we might not get one, but if we don't get the fight, we will have at least maybe some loot or some butt hurt or whatever. But the point is to see people actually defending themselves and their assets. That's why we are war decking them. And speaking of speaking about the personalities, well, there is one personality that I personally don't like at all. It's the type of person or people, I don't know, that like in Russian communities we call them elves or lolodins, which is two words, lol and paladin combined. Well, basically they are people that who say that PvP is bad, and like they say that PvP is only like it should only be like equal or fair or like something like that. I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand those people. They come to some they come to a game that is designed to be a cold, harsh, and unforgivable place, and they start crying every time they are murdered, every time they are killed, and they also say like try to tell the competent players, the actual competent players, like what to do and what not to do, and they also try to bring the like sort of real life morale into virtual game reality, which is like it's completely nonsense. I mean, it's just an absurd idea, but they just do. Okay, they don't have anything besides that. They can't really play. They don't know shit about the game mechanics. They don't know shit about how deeply should a player like sort of learn about the game to become a good PvP player. They just don't want to know anything about that. They think that they are all like every person that likes PvP is, I don't know, it must be some school kid or complexating infant or something like that. Well, I personally don't like that kind of shit, and I kill those people just because I don't like those people. I mean, they're my prey, and I enjoy killing them every time I meet them. They may defend themselves, they usually don't. They just dock up and like screech in local chat or whatever. But I really enjoy ruining their game and making their life bad. Yeah. So and now I don't really care about like how many factions I declare war to, because in the reality of the space realm, which is it doesn't have any borders like EVE Online or Dual Universe. I mean, they're kind of the same, but just a bit different, because EVE Online is this star cluster which has like thousands of stars, and Starbase is just one planet, like gas giant with moons. But I mean, the social possibilities and the kind of the concept, I think it's the same. I mean, it's social MMO, and in such MMO, it doesn't really matter how big is your victim faction or corporation or whatever, because from my experience in EVE Online, like what I learned, like is, well, the biggest alliance or the biggest entity of whatever name and or function will never ever capable to do anything to a tiny or small mobile group of dedicated players who use their spy network, like, we like to plant spies in everywhere, and they who pinpoint the unaware members of that big entity, and, well, they just who hunt them down. I mean, uh, the bigger entity is, the less defense they will probably capable to sort of build against us if we are small. Okay, and if we are big, for example, like if we have fleet of, I don't know, whether of 50 players or maybe 100 players or 200, like, then, well, then we're probably on to having uh, maybe fleet versus fleet fights or something like that. We will probably have like be capable of taking down the entire stations, or entire, or like whelping the entire fleets. But I mean, they normally I the size of the faction doesn't really matter for me when because when I decide who lives and who dies. And I mean, if no, you know what? I'll tell it the other way. It matters, but it matters the other way. I mean, the bigger it is, the easier it is for me to find and to kill people, because in the like if the faction is big, the concentration and, I mean, the percentage of the unaware players is probably the same as the percentage of like some unaware players in the small faction. But if the faction is big, then the actual number of unaware or easy killable players in it, like within the same percentage, is bigger. So, for example, if you have only 10 people faction, then you would probably have like a couple of boys like mining somewhere. And well, even if I find them and kill them, which I will do, they will probably dock up and that's it. I mean, that's what I can. That's it. I mean, the fun, like everything finishes, and they'll just go AFK and like. And if I target the corporation from like a faction of 1,000 players, then I would probably have like maybe 50, about 50 players, like, you know, being probably unaware of what's going on, probably like being unaware of me already knowing where they are and already going for them. And like the more players in my radar simply means more fun and more targets to shoot. That's why I prefer to war deck like larger factions and actually like the largest factions. And when I was in online, I prefer to war deck the largest alliances because well, even if they live in nullsec and I am in highsec where the trade hub is, I just, you know, I mean, there was no really need for me to go in their space and hunt them down because they're so big that they have like a lot of players like everywhere. And so I mean, I wasn't even moving like anywhere. I was camping, you know, one single station or one single gate, and every 5 or 10 minutes I had a member of that alliance passing the gate. Okay, so that, I mean, it was like in even line it was like that, and I know that, well, no one from that alliance actually will ever try to go to kill me because for them, like, one death of some noob in high sec is just nothing. They're so huge, they just don't feel it. And I think in Starbase, it may actually turn in something like that, but with it, like, the only difference will be it will probably be more realistic, more uh sort of focused on the actual finding and hunting down people rather than just sitting on one spot and camping like everyone that goes through the gate. And well, I hope that we will have a lot of fun like killing people and finding people, raiding their bases, and all that sort of speak. I think that Starbase will have even more kind of possibilities to launch wars between the factions. Yeah. And I don't know how many factions I have declared wars to, because I know that there were like about 5 or 10, but they immediately started looking for allies, and so like joining coalitions. And I think, well, I don't I think it was like maybe 50, maybe 100 factions. And I don't know. I didn't count.
Awesome. I'm glad I have my mic off over here because the whole half the time you're talking, I'm over here busting out laughing because you're half the stuff you're saying is very, pretty hilarious. Just going around, just pissing people off for pissing people's off sake, just building the
Yeah.
salt mine. And I agree with you. I'm not a big fan of the whole dueling and consensual PvP. I believe that if you I believe heavily in the same thing of talk shit, get hit, and also, I'm not the biggest fan of, like, I guess I would call, usually I refer to them as the White Knights. I guess how you're calling them, the
Yeah.
Lolidians. Uh, Though truly, it sounds like you're pretty much an agent of chaos, just going around pirate style, just killing everything that moves. And honestly, I find that I can respect that. That's a fairly like primal and natural way to be. It's like a purist PvP kind of player. I can respect that. Um, Next question is TCC seems to be one of the only few Russian communities out there so far. Has that helped in any growth coming from Starbase? Kind of like having a semi monopoly over kind of like a speaking group, or has that been more of a hindrance?
I think more of a hindrance, if I understand that word correctly, because yeah, we are kind of like one of the like semi-monopoly, like me, like TCC and ALR, and we also have like a couple of other groups, but they don't really advertise themselves as much as we do. But the Starbase, the Russian community today is very very tiny. It's only about 300 people or so, maybe 400. I mean, look, uh, there are more than 200 people in my own Discord. If I like exclude all the ambassadors from other Starbase factions, like that go that just sit there, well, okay, then minus 15 people, okay, but still almost 250 people. Like, I mean, so my own faction is about the size of the entire Russian community in Starbase. So like for me it's very hard to recruit people in Starbase, because like I have to recruit them from other games, and I have to sort of show them the trailer of Starbase, and I have to ask them, oh, hello, dude, would you ever play the game? Look, what an awesome game is about to come out, dude. Come on, let's go. I mean, it's just so stupid. Okay, so I just stopped it because I mean it's so fucking idiotic. Because I decided what like I just wait until the game comes out. I don't give a fuck if I will be the only fucking one dude under the TCC banner, because I know how like what I can do if the game is there, and if I'm in the game, and if I am surrounded by people, I can recruit about 30 people a day. Like in Eve, I did it in Eve. I did it like more recently in Rust, and like so I mean recruiting like at the moment from Russian community is extremely hard. It's almost impossible, because people just they like the Russians especially, like we have such an interesting mentality, and says that, oh look, there is no game yet, like why should I join you, and who the fuck are you? I mean, oh, you were something in the other games, so I don't know those games, man. I'm here only for Starbase. And look, what you gonna do with those people? They just don't know what to do, and as long as the game is not there, they won't move like the fucking asses. They won't join anyone, or maybe they will join, but I mean, so what? I mean, what's the point of such members? What's the use of them? What they will become? I mean, we don't know. Will they be playing the game or not? So it's just like someone in the chat and like shit posting, or maybe being a moron, or just talking. I mean, it's I don't know. I mean, for me, it's just ineffective. And if I like, if I was still playing Eve Online, which I don't, because my computer is, well, it's an absolute shit, and I'm just waiting for the new one, and then I will return to Eve. Like, if I was active in Eve Online, then our numbers probably be boosted by like maybe 10 people per day or something, maybe 30 people per day. And so yeah, I mean, in my opinion, recruiting now, and recruiting Russians, and recruiting from the Russian Starbase community to play Starbase is just bad idea. Okay, it's not going anywhere, because like everything is pretty much idle, and everyone is waiting for the game. The game is not there, so I'll just wait until it release, until the release, or open alpha or whatever, so I can just launch it, just jump into the game, open the fucking recruitment chat or whatever, and just recruit people that are already there. Yeah. So that's what I figured out. I mean, I know that you guys, you don't have such difficulties because like there are thousands of you English-speaking guys in Starbase Discord. So like some factions, they're growing very very confidently, like maybe 10 people per day or 20 people per day or 6 people per day, and it's normal. Okay, it's normal rates of boosting the numbers, and in Russian community that's impossible. It's absolutely possible. I have some numbers, the ALR have some numbers, the rest, like the other two unknown clans to me, have some numbers, but all those numbers are from other games, you know. So like we have one clan from Plain Side 2, we have one clan from Space Engineers, which is ALR, they're dedicated Space Engineers gamers, and we have one clan from the Evil Line, which is me and my clan TCC, and we have another dude that have only 10 members, I think. I don't know. I don't know who he is and who the fuck the dudes are. I don't know. But they recruiting like from Starbase, it's just nothing. I mean, we don't have people to sort of to boost our numbers from. Okay, so there's no human resource for us yet.
Uh,
That's it.
all right. Probably grow a little better over time since space games usually tend to pick up a decent,
Yep.
yeah, like decent Russian followings. But yeah, I can understand that, like the fact that there aren't that many of them, because like for us, it's just throw out an ad, people come to us, but for you it'd be a little different unless you wanted to recruit non-Russian speaking people. I feel like if you did open that up to just everybody, you'd probably get a lot more people, but that's beside the point. Next question. I've known of you since Space Engineers, and from your times of playing Space Engineers with ALR. To my knowledge, recently both TCC and ALR, as the two main Russian clans, basically have a newfound rivalry that's been fairly public. Um, what would you want to go any detail on that, like as to what exactly happened and why y'all dissolved and how things turned so south so quick?
Well, yeah. Um. Well, first thing is like the entire atmosphere inside the ALR, like private chats, like faction chats, like everyone is is toxic in there. But the like the kind of the community that like everyone is trolling, everyone is cursing, like swearing and being toxic assheads, and but it's fine, it's absolutely fine for those people because they're toxic, but their toxicity is kind of friendly. Okay, so they can call, like tell you that they fucked your mama recently, but you just give a shit because, oh, okay, was it good? Yeah, it was good. Okay, I'll go fuck your mama instead tomorrow. So I mean like everyone is like that, and no one gives a fuck about that. And but like um the day, or maybe the day before the rivalry started, and we had the guy who is like whose toxicity is beyond has gone beyond all the extreme levels. Okay, he brought the real life politics bullshit into the chat. He was like he said, like, on like he was serious about that shit. And he said like he was Russian, and you probably heard about some riots in Russian on Russian streets, and I don't know like how they are presented to you, like in your media, but like for me, they are the people who wanted to have a kind of gathering, or maybe something. I don't know how, what's the word in English for that, when they just go and like scream something, a demonstration, like they want that, and they were not allowed to use one of the main streets for that, because like I mean, the street was busy. Okay, it was a holiday, people are there, there are no like cars are there, like shops are open, and no one needs those like the fuckwards like marching through the streets and screaming their stupid bullshit, because everything, like every grocery store, every shop, every boutique should close when they like pass by, because they can just come in and fuck everything up and break everything up, you know. And like there are people who like intentionally apply for a demonstration in some exotic place or somewhere that they know they would never be allowed to do that. They are ejected, of course, and then they go to that place intentionally, so breaking the law, you know, illegally. They make the riot. They provoke the police to kind of bust them. They provoke police to fight with them. They try to record everything, like all those situations on camera. They send, sometimes they even send their kids, their teenagers, to, you know, to do something to make police actually arrest them. And then they make photos of the, like about two or three policemen, like, you know, grabbing a child or a girl or a woman or whatever. I mean, it's all like it's all about the provocations, about the trolling, flaming, and all that, making all that shit blown up to the public, and saying that, oh look, Russians are what they use, yeah, Russia is a totalitarianistic state, blah 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 regime, blah 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 blah, Stalin, blah 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 blah, and all that kind of shit. Well, I just told him that, look, if you want to speak up, okay, just do, you know, respect all other, like the rest of the, you know, the town inhabitants, okay? If they don't allow you to use the street, then probably you being on that street with your silly demonstration would be actually breach of the rights of the rest of the people that want to be there, and that live there, that work there, and that probably they don't want to see you and your shit in that place. Okay, so go to some, you know, square or a park or whatever and speak up there. Okay, just don't fuck up the main traffic, you know, whatever, artery, or how you call it, I don't know. But and that's what they do actually. And the guy that we had in the ALR, he was well, he was stirring shit up, okay, you know, like provoking everything. Like he was thinking that like people have the right to do anything on street, and there like the law and the laws and the regulations that actually kind of try to control that kind of malicious behavior, they are not kind of constitutional, you know what I mean? And they actually are, but the guy said that they are not. And when I tried to tell him, like, come on man, the fuck, be nice, okay, you have the right to speak up, but don't do this under my own fucking window, because I don't want to see you there, okay? Just shut up and go to the fucking forest. And he was like, oh, you know what? You are, and you are subhuman, underman, scum, and like biotrash and shit like that, okay? He started like saying all the slogans of the, you know, maybe Nazi Germany that actually they actually called us, the Russians, the communists in the World War II. Like the term underman is from that time, and he was calling me that like that word because I was disagreeing with him. And sorry, and that's why I just decided to leave the Discord, yeah, of ALR, and there was the shitstorm that we had. It actually split the relationship between TCC and ALR in two, and yeah, so it was that kind of conflict. It was the conflict over the real life politics stuff, and the me was just like they wanted to provoke everyone. They wanted to riot, and I was just the one who said that no, that's not good. Okay, that's illegal. Don't do that shit. You don't have the right to do that shit. Just that's illegal. Just don't. And they said we are the power in the bullshit, and we will just do it. I was like, okay, fuck you, and and I just just left the Discord, and the the ALR leader, like the moment, maybe the minutes before that, he was kind of he made the guy, the toxic guy, one of the lords who are basically the leadership of the ALR, and he actually stripped me from that role. He actually kind of kicked me from the ALR, like by removing all the ALR roles and leaving me only with the TCC role. And well, I was like, guys, you just okay, fuck off, okay? I made a lot for the ALR. I was with you for 2 years, and then you become so toxic that even I cannot stand that shit. So bye bye and see you in the crosshair in the game. That's what I told. And all the TCC members, they left the ALR Discord, and that's it. And the what the ALR did, they started to kind of uh, how you say, like, well, shit posting. Yeah, they start to shit post about TCC. They start like spreading some misinformation about TCC and all that kind of shit. Well, their behavior is not really good from my point of view. I mean, the TCC is not very good thing from for the like for a lot of people's point of view, but I mean, we are not the ones who actually spreads misinformation about about our former guys or whatever. I mean, like there are some borders that you just do not cross, okay? Like it's in our mentality, and if you do cross those borders, I mean, well, then fuck you. That's what I think, and that's what I told to ALR basically, because I mean, what the fuck? Come on, like you should have kicked that guy, and you made him one of the leaders. So, okay, okay, fine, enjoy him. I'm leaving. That's it. That's what happened basically.
Dang. Yeah, that sounds pretty shitty. Yeah, I try and keep politics, real life politics, as stuff. And yeah, we have the same kind of like protests of people that act the same way here. I think that happens pretty much everywhere nowadays. Seems like it's becoming more and more common. Also agree with you that that kind of metagaming where you just go around and spread lies and rumors and you just mudsling at people in Discord and just make shit up just to make people not like you extra. We've had to experience that a lot ourselves. So I really feel that on a personal level. I really hate people that do that because, in my opinion, you should just keep everything in the game. If you don't like somebody, don't go spread lies about them. Just go fight them. Go try attack them in the game. Don't just yeah. Next question is how does TCC plan on acting in the potential for high piracy environment that's going to most likely unfold in Starbase? And for clarification, I'm referring to the multiple large clans with similar agendas to your own existing, as well as some others coming in outside from China and other countries like that. A lot of those Zergs and a few other Eve clans potentially having large groups of their player base considering playing in Starbase as well as a side game. Do you foresee any potential cooperation between groups like this, between the Chinese or Goons or any of the other clans like Join or Die? Maybe form a League of Doom per se, or do you think it'll be more of every clan for themselves, and people will just sooner kill each other than work together, just in hopes of tackling larger prey?
Well, I think that, well, I hope that the potential high piracy environment it like actually will unfold in Starbase, and I hope that it will be a never-ending battle, like everyone versus everyone, just for the sake of fucking battle. I hope that there will be a fucking clusterfuck, and of course we will participate in that shit, and we will try to participate more than the rest, like more than others. We will try to be more like famous for our in-game kind of actions than the rest of the pirates and the rest of the groups doing piracy. We will engage like everyone we can without warning, just because it's not like even lying. Like you shouldn't like wait when your, like, for example, your foe is targeted by your weapon system. You just kind of go and shoot on them, and I think it would be awesome. Yeah, and like for the large clans with similar agendas, well, I mean, it's okay. I mean, those people, they must be there. They will be there, and I think that the most interesting and the most intensive and skill skill demanding and skill intensive fights will be between like those people and between us and those people. And I hope that there are a lot of those people, because like that's the only thing that we can actually earn the real fame in. Because like harassing people, killing minors, like teabagging some some newborns is just, it's fun, yeah. But like the more like by doing so, you won't have any personal skill, like, to be honest, and you will be always disgraced by players that actually do have some personal skill. And you one day you'll find that you are absolutely incapable of competing with those players who actually dedicated themselves into the most like challenging PvP like in the game. Okay, so in Starbase you will find out that you will probably unable to build a decent PvP like ship to actual or fight or whatever. You won't know any tactics and shit. Like you'll be sucking their dicks big time if you kill only like defenseless dudes. So I hope that uh we will take our own place under the like on the orbit of the the famous gas giant. And I hope that we will be sort of fighting for our zone of influence with the rest of the pirate groups, like living in the wild space outside the safe zone bubble. And of course, we will be killing like everyone in our, like every defenseless targets that is stupid enough to go to our space. Yeah, but I think that we will be like fighting everyone, like concentrate ourselves in fighting, like on fighting the actual dedicated PvP groups. Because like, to be honest, we should do it from the very beginning. Because if we waste our time in killing those who cannot resist, we will find ourselves, like, well, you know what I mean, like outsiders, like we will be like, it will be hard for us to catch up, like, so we will be like, our main focus will be, of course, like the most skill intensive PvP content that we can find. And I don't know like how many players from Eve will come. I don't know how many players from China will come. Maybe from Chinese Eve will come. We have like about maybe 1/3 of the players in Eve server Tranquility is from China. They're Chinese now, yeah. The Fraternity Alliance and some other Chinese corporations and coalitions. Well, um, from what I saw in Eve, like the Chinese probably stick to each other. I doubt that there will be more than two or three Chinese groups. Maybe there will be, but they will be more from what I saw in the games, like well, with the Chinese players, they still have the very I mean not very, but I think the extremely strong ties to their motherland, and like they go to the game not to actually play but to fight for their motherland, like like Russians did in the maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, yeah, when we had a lot of problems in Russia, and like the life was a lot harder than it is now, and people just escape into virtual reality trying to prove like something that to everyone, they're trying to prove that they're capable, that Russia is capable, that they're Russians and they fight for Russians, like yeah, and all that kind of shit. Well, um, so I'm expecting the Chinese to be like, like consolidated, like maybe one big entity, like where everyone's like maybe more of a hive mind or something, and maybe a couple of more like smaller entities that just don't they don't sort of fit in the hive mind structure, and they decided to separate themselves. And there are always such people even in China. And I also expect the Russians to, well, like to do two things. First thing is like try to do what China will do, like fight for Russia. Like, I know it's very stupid, but we have like Russian national idea also, and the rest of the Russian players like me, it will be laughing at them, like at their silly, like kind of Russian patriotic morale in the fucking computer game. Like, what can be sillier than that? And I think that the Russian groups, they will be probably fighting each other, like more than they actually fight the non-Russian groups, because the Russian salt, the Russian swearing, and the Russian butthurts, they are actually so tasty, man. Like if I kill an American boy, well, I won't get like anything compared to what I will get if I kill a Russian boy, because like you have what, well, basically only like just a couple of insults compared to Russian language. Okay, you have like the word fuck, idiot, like some cheap jokes about mama, about sister, about some something. I mean, it's all like so innocent compared to the words that we have in Russian. Yeah, like some of them are really bad ones. Yeah, if the devs would ever understand them, they would just ban everyone that actually use them. But I hope that they will not understand them for the first time, because because I want to like sort of want to use them as well sometimes. But yeah, I mean, like killing Russians is like when a Russian kills Russians, very funny. Okay, it's like even the Western players admit that, and for them it's even funnier because they use Google Translate to translate all the stupid shit that some Russian dude is screaming to them, and it becomes even more funnier. Yeah. So, well, I don't know. I think I can actually. Well, there will be. I hope that there will be a huge clusterfuck, just one huge mess. Okay, and TCC will be in the fucking middle of that, and I hope that everyone, every single fucking dude in that mess will want a piece of TCC. Yeah, I hope that they will like sort of go to come to my place, to my station, or whatever, they try to fuck it up. They will try to kill us. They will try, and we will have a lot of content. Yeah. So, but speaking about the cooperation with those dudes, well, like Eve Online, like the people who are actually neutral to each other, sometimes they can make a joint ops. Okay, so if whatever, like one lone interdictor suddenly caught a Titan, and he just, what he does is this, trying to ping in everyone, like, hey, I got a Titan, need damage, and people like, well, let's say like a couple, like two alliances that actually fought each other like 10 minutes ago, or maybe half an hour ago, or a day ago, for that Titan, they can actually cooperate. They can actually fleet up with each other. They hot drop that Titan, kill it, and then fly back home, like leave fleet, or just leave fleet right in their place and fight each other after that. Okay, so like considering like being neutral or hostile to almost everyone, I think that sometimes like I can actually make a good use of the human resource around me, and I think that there will be at least one guy or two guys that would want to use my human resource. I mean the my corporation, my faction, the TCC, because they like I don't know what actually what kind of event should require a lot of players to do. Maybe a station siege or some super juicy targets, maybe a ship or a mothership or someone, I don't know, with a lot of guns and players. I don't know, but if they call us, we probably will come. Yeah, we can kill the juicy target, and then we can kill each other because the target actually will have loot, and like someone should take it. Yeah, so, well, I don't know, I hope that it will be like that from the beginning. And I also know that, well, everyone including me will likely to be noob in that game, and those who have the right mentality for that game will actually win, because the lack of like skill and game mechanic knowledge will be compensated by the right mentality, by the psychology of players, by knowing actually the psychology and mentality of the players that are opposing you. And I think that the experience from another like sort of social MMO like Eve, it will be very handy in Starbase. Yeah, I think so. So I think we should have advantage on that if I use my like sort of my potential as a recruiter and as a CEO. Wise, yeah.
Nice. All right, last question. I already know this video is going to be I already know this video is going to be monumentally long. But one last question. You've been a part of some recent drama over the last month. Speaking of drama a while ago, I guess you could call it phone book wars. The splitting of Starbase Faction Finder and a bunch of people leaving it and making Faction Chan. Will this have any effect on your goals and what you do in Starbase, or and what would really be your plan for the Faction Chan as alternate for Faction Finder?
Yes. When that shit. By the way, I like the name Phone Book Wars. Yeah, I like it. I fucking like it. I didn't know that it already had a name. Yeah, but well, yeah. It actually it actually already had an effect on our goals, because we dropped all wars. Like we are not at war with the rest of the community. after the fleet, like the faction finder, was cooked, and we will now focus like on the only like saying about harassment and all the kind of shit that I talked before about. Well, our first victim, like, and our only victim, I hope, would be the Harborman. Yeah, the PVE like faction with the like dumb as fuck leader, who like is absolutely incapable as a player, as a PvP player, and he well what he did, it was like it was like an absolute scumbag move, and he just took another guy's achievement, defection finder. He's standing on it now, and well, let's say I don't like that kind of people as well. I think I don't like them even more than the rest of the people that I don't like, because like when you do like that, like when you like do shit like that, you should be doomed, like, in my opinion, because I I retracted like all wars just to be able to focus on one single target, and target is the Harborman. And I know that there are other people that will join our crusade, and some of those people, they are actually from the factions that we war decked before and that we are now neutral with. And yeah, so the main effect was in our kind of war policy. So we we kind of like withdrew our activity from the faction finder. I mean, I'm still there, but I'm not writing anything in the chats. And I announced like the only war target is the Harborman, the like the faction that actually stolen the achievement of the Eboleth. And I think I will be the one who will be on the spearhead of punishment for those guys, because I don't like scumbags. Okay, like as I told before, there are borders. Even if you are an absolute evil guy, an absolute evil, there are still borders that you do not cross. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I will. I think I will. I will do my best to pinpoint them and to hunt them down. We already have mm, some amount of, let's say, spies in that organization. We've been planting them like all the time. Basically, like, we just spreading. We have kind of large spy network, and we have informants in that faction as well. And it's not only one guy. We have them on all levels of their structure, and one of them is a moderator, is in their faction Discord. Yeah, so I think it will not be a hard task to pinpoint them, to fuck them up as like as hard as as we can, and to do our best to make them believe that they got fucked by a train, and and then to ruin the game and to make them like emo quit, and log off and uninstall Starbase and forget about it forever. That's it. That's what we plan to do. And my plan for Fraction Chan, well, I'm not the leader of Fraction Chan. I think it's still the project under the Aboleth kind of shadow guidance or so. I mean, he's an advisor, and the leader is a girl actually that actually created it, and I was the one who made the logo and who suggested some plans for the development of the faction channel. But I well, my own plan is just to participate in the developing of the place, and I actually want to make it more chill plays than the Faction Finder, because the Faction Finder is just a phone book, basically, okay, and just a billboard. And Faction Chain should be more, more chill plays, more plays like plays for memes, for jokes, and for just for general talks, and well, and including the sort of the faction, phone book or billboard function actually. So I mean, it should be there as well, but also it will have its own kind of differences from the faction finder. The first difference is lack of the Nazi moderators, because, well, in faction finder they're all full Nazi, and they're all PVE idiots, and they're all like, like fucking nobodies, like jumping around at their hot shit, and they're all emo kids basically. I mean, they behave like they're already banned, like some people, just because they could. And well, we will never ever have that kind of practice, because that's just retarded bullshit. Yeah, and I think that the faction chan will be more popular at some point than the faction finder, because it's, well, it's more friendly, more chill place, and less rules, and you know, just more pleasant to be part of than the faction finder. Yeah, that's it.
All right, I think that's gonna wrap us up. Probably gonna be the longest. It's probably gonna be the longest interview I've ever done. Probably the most fun I've ever had in an interview, though. Great enjoyment listening to you. I'm sure people that in the comment section down below would agree that it's probably the funniest interview that they've listened to. But yeah, that about wraps it up. Thanks for being here.
Yes, thank you.
Yep, and that'll be it. And I will put Messrs. The Cobrastan Cult's Discord link down in the description. Be sure to check them out. And yeah, that is all for this video. I'll see y'all in the next one. See ya.
See you.